Friday night at Brand Theaters watching Beauty and the Beast, the remake of the '91 classic animated one. First things first, I'm just gonna get it out there. The movie wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I really enjoyed the art direction. I liked all the sets. I liked how the characters looked. But then after you take that whole layer away and you get down to kind of the acting part of it, some of the acting was kind of misplaced. I don't know why. I don't see the thing with Emma Watson singing. Apparently, I guess it's a big deal, but for me, I didn't see it. It didn't bother me. Her singing was it was just there. If anything, it sounded like she sang her song like in a soundstage somewhere else, and then they filmed on things. Okay, just mouth it, and then we're gonna dub it in. Perfect. Thank you. Got it. When the movie starts, you get that kind of that '90s feel, and they start, bonjour, bonjour. You're like, oh, it's so, fine. And then it kind of like goes in this kind of weird little direction, like, okay, that's different. And I find myself start picking it apart and comparing it really hardcore to the original one, which I love.
I am of the perfect age. When Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, those movies came out, I was adoring them. I was absorbing them. They made a huge impact on me. I wasn't a small kid. I was in that perfect age where I really, really appreciated and loved them. That being said, the new Beauty and the Beast live action rendition did not do homage to the original. I know a lot of people don't like it when you watch a remake and you spend your entire review talking about how it compared to this, how this one did something better. And you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the idea of what the animated Beauty and the Beast was, the basics of how it portrayed its message, the glances, where you don't have to say anything to portray a change in emotion, the eyes meeting, the lowering of the shoulder, that type of thing that said volumes without saying a word, the cries and the roars of pain, all of that. The length being hour and a half with credits. You have that wonderful story. With that being said, the strengths of the original movie, the new movie, I'm not even sure if they watched the original movie. I think they might have just got the soundtrack and went off of that, because you get to a point where they're supposed to be conveying something emotional, a change in someone's character. And instead of doing the glance and the body language that's so powerful in the animated feature, they write a 5-minute song about it, have a dialogue about it. They decide to connect over the reading of a poem in the freezing woods. None of this was necessary. The whole magic, in my opinion, of the original is that you're seeing this natural love blossom. And in the live action version, it felt forced.
I'm a big fan of the original, so it's with some trepidation that I would see a live action, longer version of this film. Now, I put live action in quotes because honestly, it's computer generated animation, photorealistic animation. That's really the majority of this film. It is really a computer generated photoreal version of Beauty and the Beast. Because it looks so much realer, they have to make the characters a little more real, a little more believable. And that's where this movie actually succeeded for me. It's longer, bumped up from 90 minutes to 120 minutes, and that actually gives us time to learn more about these characters, to learn more about Belle, about her father, about her mother. Classic Disney orphan, of course, and it really works. We also learn a little bit more about the Beast's parents, about the world that he came from, and I found that made me appreciate the story better. We even get more backstory and more depth into the dishes, I might say. All of the come-to-life characters from the castle, very enjoyable to just spend more time with them, get a little bit more fleshed out.
Then let's get to the Beast. The Beast, for me, is one of the most amazing Disney characters ever made, written, whatever. I know Disney didn't write him, he's been around for a while, but the Disney Beast, everything about him I love. I get the movie, I kind of get this interesting CG Beast, maybe mixed with a prosthetic, not entirely sure, because stuff today, some stuff I can't tell. I felt he's very one-dimensional. It is kind of like I wanted more roaring, I wanted more attitude, more anger. I mean, it was kind of in there, but then it wasn't. I needed more. I expected more, I wanted more, I didn't get it.
You have the chemistry between the actors to give you that magical moment, and I don't believe that it's because one is animated and one is live action. I have seen plenty of stories where you can get across so much without words, where the silent actor is the loudest one in the movie. Logan being a good example with the small child that played X-23. There's no reason that you have to drag on a 5-minute song and spell out what's happening in your heart when I can just see it based off your actions. I felt that made the love story in this less magical. I really feel that it didn't work on the same level, and that's super disappointing to me, because that is the strongest aspect of the original movie, is how strong you feel that connection between Belle and Beast, and how you feel it grow when you go on that journey with them. And I just don't feel you get to enjoy that journey the same way in this one.
Musical number, the Be Our Guest, loved it, don't care, hate me, whatever. I thought it was beautiful. I loved the grandness of it, the whole unnecessariness of it. For me, it was fun. I enjoyed watching it. I liked watching it. It was very colorful. It kept my attention from start to finish of the song. And then I'm like, now we're doing something else. There's a couple songs in this movie that they originally made for it. I could do without. I don't really need it. It didn't push the story any better. It didn't hinder the story. Yeah, it hindered a little bit. It was just kind of like, another song. Cool.
I really enjoyed The Beast. It was a lot broader in range on the emotional scale. I wasn't really looking forward to sort of a CGI-faced dude, but I actually really liked the dialogue between him and Belle, and I felt like it made their love a little more believable. On the other hand, we have Gaston and LeFou. Their characters have also been a little bit more fleshed out. That makes it more interesting, a little bit different, but it's not quite as enjoyable. It doesn't have sort of that primal chord that just jumps out and grabs you. It's a little bit more subtle, a little bit more understated, and that makes it a little bit more interesting, but not quite as punchy. Doesn't just jump out and move you immediately.
The motto for the live action Beauty and the Beast was everything has to be bigger. The thing is, bigger isn't necessarily better. Just because you make the castle yard bigger, just because you make the Be My Guest number bigger, now there's dishes flying everywhere the whole time, and you've got aerial shots of Mrs. Potts, and none of that's necessary. It was magical before. You didn't have to make it larger than life to make it more magical. It doesn't really work that way. Then there's scenes where they take the bigger is better and throw it out the window, like the ballroom. The ballroom was amazing in the original movie, and I can't speak to the way it was shot or anything like that, but in this movie it didn't feel that magical, and it's very possible that that's because building up to the ballroom, I had a different emotional reaction to the scenes they use in the live action than the scene they use in the animated, where the magic wasn't as strong for me. It also has something to do with Emma Watson. Now, I am a huge fan of Emma Watson. She's extremely intelligent, extremely gifted, and absolutely gorgeous, but she was not a good choice for Belle at all. In Disney movies, you have, whether it's live action or not, you have a history of these powerful voices. You have a history of these larger than life songs where they get you to your core. They're so beautiful. You have the deep booming voices of Gaston. You've got the beautiful haunting voice of the Beast, and the beautiful just glowing voice of Belle that just spews beauty everywhere, for a lack of a better way to say that. In this movie, they're quaint and weak. Her voice was timid. I'm not sure why that choice was made. I don't know if it was the limitations of Emma Watson's voice, because she's not a professional singer, which is fine. Excellent actress. I feel that you lose a lot when you lose the voice. Disney is all about the song, and those songs carry the story. And if the songs are lackluster, it hurts. Now, I will say that the dude that played Gaston did an excellent job. I don't like the changes they made to his character. It's not the actor's fault. The way he portrayed Gaston, even his voice, although not as epic as the animated guy's voice, it wasn't bad.
The only positive thing I can come away with this is I liked the art direction and the look of it. Gaston, great animated Disney villain, and this one I really kind of felt they 180'd it a little bit, where they made him more kind of like, oh yeah, you are a dashing young man and I'm gonna marry Belle. I have an anger problem and I'm gonna marry Belle. Belle ran away. I'm gonna marry... Dude, give it up, man. There's plenty of other women in that village. Just go find someone else. Whole thing with LeFou being gay. Whatever. He is, he isn't. Don't care. It honestly didn't make the story any better and it didn't make it any less. There it is. Open to interpretation. Even the director said, open to interpretation. Josh Gad just happened to act that part Josh Gad style.
My biggest problem with this film, really, is that I feel like they did not need the big name Hollywood actors. The original Beauty and the Beast had essentially no name actors that it was selling to audiences. It succeeded on the strength of the talent of those voice actors. This movie does not succeed on the voice talent. Emma Watson does an amazing job acting, but her singing isn't really of the caliber that one would come to expect from a huge motion picture from Disney. And this music is so beautiful, it's really a shame. The Beast's voice, on the other hand, is quite good. I actually really enjoyed him.
Now we come to the changes in the story. I'm not going to spoil anything, we don't do that here. But I will say that they added aspects of Belle's backstory and the father's backstory weren't even necessary. I actually think they were less necessary than the Joker was in Suicide Squad. There was just no point for them at all. You see the scenes, you see Lynn mention once, and then you see the answer to the question that was asked, and then you move on. And I'm like, I didn't gain anything in the relationship from that. I didn't gain any deep understanding of the character from that. I feel that that was a waste of time. You created an entire new place for that. Why? And that kind of bugs me. It was like, Isn't the focus of this story supposed to be Belle and Beast? Why do I care about her parents? It just didn't work. The scene that bothered me the most and kind of hurt my soul a little bit, there's a scene in the animated film where he lets Belle go. We all know the story of Beauty and the Beast. This isn't a spoiler. In the animated film, he lets out this roar that just pierces your heart. You can hear the pain in it, and that's it. It cuts to her. He sings an entire song in this movie about it, and it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. He's talking about the pain and the anguish and how it'll stay in his mind, and I'm like, why are you doing this? We don't need it to be spelled out for us. We understand what's going on. Plus, the song itself, it didn't feel like it fit in the film. I mean, the new songs they added didn't feel like they fit in the film at all. Not to mention the fact that they already did a live-action Beauty and the Beast. It was called The Broadway Show, which I saw, which was fantastic. And they wrote new songs for the Broadway show. One was retroactively put in the movie, which is Human Again. And they didn't even use Human Again. You've got this amazing song that was created later through Broadway for this, and instead they make up songs that don't fit at all. Human Again felt like it flowed, and it worked.
It is a good family movie. I understand there's a lot of movies where parents get weirded out with violence, beheadings, language. So yes, definitely from a point of family-friendly, child-appropriate, absolutely. That's definitely where Disney nailed it on the head. But as far as something that I grew up with, you could have done a lot better. This is the 4th live-action animated movie, and I gotta say, I did not like Maleficent. I really loved Cinderella. I really loved Jungle Book. Did not really like this one. Like I said, it's not good, it's not bad, it's there.
There's a lot of good singers in this film, but for instance, I would say Ewan McGregor, I feel like was cast mainly for his name. Doesn't really pull off the French accent, and he's in quite a lot of this movie. Be Our Guest is an amazing number, but honestly, I feel like the original version is actually superior to this one. All of the songs are great, but you can really get those songs at the original movie with amazing singers. So unless you're someone that has some kind of weird aversion and you can't watch a cartoon, but you can watch a photoreal CGI version of a cartoon, then I guess this is the movie for you.
So when it comes to the inanimate objects, which are obviously a big character in this show, Lumiere, Cogsworth, excellent characters. They added new characters. I didn't have a problem with that. Characters that had little bit parts like the wardrobe have a name and they have a purpose, and that was fine. I liked the look of these characters. They looked extremely ornate, especially the candelabra and Lumiere and Cogsworth. The harpsichord's a good example. They looked like they belonged in this castle. They looked like they were part of the architecture of this castle, and I appreciated that. Now, when it comes to the actors they chose to play all these inanimate objects, I didn't necessarily agree with my co-workers here about Lumiere, Ewan McGregor. I thought he did an okay job. I thought that the accent was silly to begin with in the first one, and it's just as silly as this one. He does a horrible French accent, so just like Lumiere. And I didn't really have a problem with it. I thought he did Be My Guest good, except for the fact that they just made it bigger for no reason. I feel that Ian McKellen did an excellent job as Cogsworth. Emma Thompson, great actress. She did a good job in the part. Horrible job singing. I actually thought it was Helen Bonham Carter for a little while there while she was singing, because it sounded just like her. I think that Eddie made an excellent point when he says that bringing in named actors just for the sake of being named actors, even though they might not be singers or perfect for the role, I think that he has an excellent point when that was a problem in this movie.
So with that said, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I was expecting more, I wanted more. The art direction was amazing and beautiful. The songs, like I said, some of them I liked, some I didn't like. It kind of got that little 90s feel going on. You're like, awesome. I don't think Disney really sat down and fleshed this one out the right way. There were some definite decisions they went with that I would have loved to have been there. Like, no, let's not do it that way, guys. 91, here's how we did it. Just do this, but better, if you can.
I enjoyed the original more than this one. Of course, it is one of our all-time classics, so there's a sliding scale here. Overall, I did really enjoy this film. I liked the subtlety, I liked the fleshing out of the characters, I loved the look of it, depth of it, but it doesn't quite have the same punch as the original film does. Didn't grab me in quite the same way, so it's just a measly 8 out of 10 for me.
I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. I feel that you can't watch a movie like this without comparing it to the original one, because if you're gonna take a movie that's a classic, that's beloved by pretty much everyone from a couple of generations, and you make the choice to remake it, you need to bring the magic with you. If you can't remake it in a way that captures the magic in the same way, don't bother remaking it.
Question for you this week. What Disney animated movie would you like to see live action? They've got a few made, a few on the way, so go ahead and shoot that down below. Curious to know. Go on ahead and favorite this video, like it, subscribe to this channel. By doing that, you get more reviews like this one, plus throwback reviews, unboxing videos, and remember guys, you heard it here at The Source.